Hey y'all, and welcome to my Weekly Wip Wednesday and the 10 non-yarny things about myself tag. Good grief, if I could talk ever, it would be appreciated. So I'm going to go ahead and start with the 10 non-yarny things about myself first. And I'll go ahead and show you the whips. And yeah, since my time to spin is pretty limited, we're going to go ahead and, as in the last podcast, I will spin with you while I share with you my 10 things about myself. So I guess, even though I'm sure most of you already know these first couple of things, but I have 4 boys. Jeremy is my oldest, he is 11, and then Sam is my 8-year-old, and then I have Leo and Zane, which are my 2-year-old twins. And no, twins do not run in my family, so they were quite the surprise. And we have currently 3 household pets. We have Sona, which is our rescue. She's supposed to be a black Labrador / red-bone coonhound mix. And we have 2 cats who are half-sisters. We know their mother. Their mother is still around, but barely. So we have 2 kitties, and that is Naru and Motoko. And just a little secret for all of you, I think this year we may be getting another kitty. Naru and Motoko, or otherwise aka Tokes, are getting older. Naru will be 15 on Cinco de Mayo. Her birthday is Cinco de Mayo, so her birthday's easy to remember. And then Tokes is not quite a year younger than her. I don't know the exact date of her birth, but it was in April, and it was before April 22nd, which, if you're doing the cal, you know, is Earth Day and my nephew's birthday. So I know that Tokes is the same age as my nephew, approximately. So they're getting up there in age, and we went to a pet store over the weekend, and the kids, I guess, have never been around a actual kitten before. Like, you know, we have our 2 cats, they are older than they are, so they didn't see them in kitten stage. And so I think we have every other year we go to Florida, and so after we go to Florida, because this is our year to go, I think we may look at getting a kitten, just so that, you know, our 2 older cats, there's not the, I guess, gap when one of them goes, because I know a lot of people with older cats like that, and they're female, which tend to not live as long, and they didn't get spayed as early as they could, which also leads to them not living quite as long, although they are spayed now, so that kind of gives them a longer life. So, you know, they could be with us 5 more years or so, but the likelihood of that is probably not as good. So yeah, we're entertaining the thought of adding a kitten to our house this year. And so let's see, that's 1 and 2, so kids and pets. And let's see, I am an avid Mountain Dew drinker. I know there are a couple of you other crafters out there. This one's actually one I just finished. I usually will drink 1.5 of those a day. It's hard for me to tell because I'll have one out and my husband will finish it. And I don't usually drink a lot in one sitting. So that took me from first thing this morning till right before I started recording for you to finish. And my husband could pretty much down that in half an hour. So yeah, I drink Mountain Dew. And I also enjoy drinking tea and things, but I tend to not do that as often because being a blind person in this world, I am clumsy and knock cups over quite a lot, and there's just not good mugs that I have found or like coffee, you know, the ones with the lids and stuff. They don't make them with like a sealable lid that doesn't leak. So that's been my issue with drinking tea, is that I know myself, I know I knock things over, and I have small children in the house, and I can't just trust myself to have a cup of tea out and, you know, sip on it. But I can do a pop bottle and cap it. So that's pretty much what I do for drinks. I know other people have mentioned alcohol and doing their wine versus beer. I'm really not, I don't do pretty much beer at all. There was, at one point they did the beer that had the energy shots, they called them peels, I think. That was out about the time that I got married, which is one reason I know of it, and so that I liked a lot. But that's still really on the fruity end of beers or alcoholic stuff. And then, it's not that I dislike wine, but again, the tipping over, and I don't drink things very fast. So, yeah, I don't do a lot of wine either, and when we do drink, I usually do some kind of mixed drink. I do tend to side towards the amaretto sour, which I know today, I was listening to somebody and they mentioned, oh, I think it was on Beautiful Things. She was talking about making the perfect amaretto sour, and that was like one of her goals for her 40s, for a year that she turns 40 or something goal, and I'm just like, it's not a complicated drink, at least not here. But she's over in the UK, so maybe theirs is a little fancier. I don't know. But yeah, so I do like amaretto sours and white Russians for drinks, and Long Islands. But again, I don't drink anything super fast, so often I have to drink whatever my husband will also drink, because I'll drink a little bit at first and then he'll have to finish it for me. So let's see, that's 4 things. So alcoholic drinks and non-alcoholic drinks. 5, I've been to 5 countries. That seems fitting, right? 5 and 5 outside of the United States. Now, 2 of these I've only been basically on the ground in the airport. So I went to Italy when I was a sophomore in high school. And so we had our layover or whatever in London. So we had to get off the plane and shuttled to the airport, I think. So I count that as a country I've been in. I've been in England and I've been to Italy on that trip. And then when I was in 4th grade, I went to Chile. And when I was in Chile, our layover was in Argentina, and our plane was super, super late. And so again, we had to get off the plane and walk to the bus or whatever it was. I think it was a bus, and it took us to another plane, I want to say. So it was very short-lived in London and Argentina. I only mentioned 4 of the countries. And yes, I have also been up to Canada. Not sure and if it's anywhere by Debbie or not, but I've been up to Toronto and I've been up to Montreal, because my dad has a childhood friend that he grew up with in Toronto. So I've been up there a couple times to their different places, and I've been up to areas around Montreal. I'm not exactly sure where, but that's where my aunt lives, or my tia Jenny. But yeah, she's up in Montreal too. So I've been to both of those places a few times for the times that we've gone to visit my dad's friends and visit my aunt. Then we'll go to question number 6, or item number 6, and my favorite color is basically sapphire. And if you don't know the story about this ring, go check out my December 24th Xmas video. But yeah, that is the color that I prefer of blue, although all shades of blue are awesome, and I am an October baby, so I missed the sapphire birthstone by a month. And yeah, so sapphire is my favorite overall color of colors, but I am very much a rainbow child. When I was a child, I colored everything like rainbow, like the background where you have all that empty white space. I would just go ahead and color that in with just segments of color. Just kind of rainbowed every background to every photo I ever colored. And so yeah, sapphire is probably my #1 favorite color, and then anything rainbow you know, all the colors. I don't discriminate. Then number 7, let's see, I am a Stephen minister. I am not actually like a practicing Stephen minister, because the Stephen ministers are kind of a link between, or a go-between between an actual pastor or minister and the congregation. And so I have been commissioned in our church that we were in the town before where we live now. And since the town that we moved to, our current church does not have that same program, that's why I say I'm a non-acting Stephen minister. And yeah, so I guess that's number 8 of a interesting fact about myself. Number 9 is that I ride a tandem bicycle. I quite enjoy riding the bicycle around, and maybe this summer you'll get to see a little more of our riding around now that we have our little vlogging camera, although I think really ideally we need a bicycle mount for that, so we might look into that over time. But if we didn't have the kids, we would ride the bike literally everywhere all the time. But kids aren't quite as excited about bike riding. Like even this summer when we went bike riding, we would go like 2 places in the town over, because I live on the edge of 2 towns. So the awesome thing is that we can literally ride into the downtown-ish or the commercial district of the town center that we actually live closer to, even though it's not the town we live in. And so we would go and we just go park our bikes and go and get dinner at different places. And a lot of the places around here, because it's kind of a touristy part of the metro, a lot of them have outdoor eating areas, so we could literally just eat almost practically on our bikes. So that was a lot of fun this summer and something I really enjoy doing. And let's see, number 10, I have a arch nemesis, and it is paper. Now this is totally a blind person thing, but since I can't read anymore what's on paper, I often get people that think I'm messy, and the problem is it's not that I'm messy, it's that I can't read paper, and so I avoid cleaning, because so much of the paper that we get, I can't tell what it is, and no one will tell me what it is. So yeah, it's not that I'm messy, it's I'll pick stuff up and put stuff away, but paper just seems to leach out everywhere. Everywhere you go, there's paper. So yeah, my arch nemesis is paper. Anyways, guys, that's gonna do us for the 10 non-yarny things about myself. And I'm going to tag, and like I've said before, I try to keep my tags to 3 people just to keep it, you know, a little more friendly to everyone else who needs to send out tags. So I am going to tag Shell Perez, which is the Blue Jay Crochet, and I'm going to tag Silver, which is Silver Streamland, and I'm going to tag Stephanie of the Tatted Tatter, because I hadn't heard those 3, and I know probably Silver and Michelle are less known to our community, although Shell, you did put out a video today, so I hope you see this, but I know you're super busy, so we'll see. And last I saw Stephanie, I think she posted in December, because she's now expecting, so we'll see. I doubt anybody's gonna watch my channel super religiously, but those were 3 names that I saw on my subscriber list. I always try to make sure that they are a subscriber to my channel so that I can, I guess, have a higher chance that they'll see this. But yeah, so anyone who is here just for the tag, you can go ahead and skedaddle and just give me a second, because I lost my thread, so, which isn't a big deal, because now we're going to move on to the weekly bit. Guys, so I went back and was editing the 10 items about myself, and I cheated you. I counted my Stephen Ministries as 7 and 8. So, since we have to come up with one more thing, I thought I'd I looked at my list, and one thing I didn't mention was the fact that I don't really watch TV. Now, I have our TV in the morning. My husband puts on the local news, and I will kind of halfway pay attention to that for segments of the morning. But beyond that, and then when we go to bed at night, he turns on the TV to like a cartoon or something. A lot of times that's when we watch Futurama. But basically, that's the only TV I watch. I have the Sesame Street and things on for the littles during the day, whatever's on PBS Kids, and I could really care less what else is on the TV screen because, you know, it's just that thing that I can't see, so it doesn't matter to me. So I have my headphones and I have YouTube. Hi all, and I'm back. So this is the new whip of the week. My fiber came in, and we should be okay being this close to the fire because alpaca is like fire retardant or something. And I think wool is supposed to be fairly fire resistant as well, so just information for you that you probably didn't need to know. But this is my sweater color. This was, I think, rose hips, and it is, well, it was a rose of something. I think there were two rosy colors. Like, I think the other one was primrose. I don't think this is primrose. But yeah, so I have, this is one 500-ish gram hank of, or roving skein, and both of my skeins were slightly under 500 grams, so I did weigh them right at the beginning this time. And I did get to spinning it, which you were listening to me do in the previous part of the video. So that is where I'm at. I'm trying to do this a little bit thinner than the last couple things that I've done because I do plan on chain plying this so that I can get a 3-ply with only my 2 bobbins. And because, as you all know, I needed, sorry, I'm grabbing things. I needed to finish this spin in order to get the bobbins freed up. So this was my and that was from Paradise Fibers. I believe it's an Ashworth. I live near a road that's called Ashworth, so every time I see Ash, I just automatically go to the road that's near me. But I think it's Ashford was where the yarn company that made this. And then this is a Yaktober blend, which was a Paradise Fibers self-blended dyed yarn that had yak and merino in it. And then I have twisted it with, or plied it with camel, which is 100% camel, baby camel down, which is why I kept calling it a baby to Zane. It's because it was baby camel down. And so that is now, it's not finished. This is how it came, or from putting it around the nitty knotty, and now after I finish recording here, I will go and soak this, and then I will have to whack it, and then I will have to let it dry for a couple days. So not a finished object, so that is why I am sharing it with you on the Weekly Wednesday whips, or Weekly Whip Wednesday. And then my actual crafting is pretty much the same. I have been a lot further on this, but I've had to rip back yesterday because I kept dropping, and it was like multiple dropping, and I got fed up with myself and just restarted. So I'm back to like the first row, which I don't think is actually counted in the pattern. I've just done a row of purling on my honeycomb cowl from Cello Knits, and that again is on my dazzling Hobby Lobby yarn. I forget what the exact name was, but I am using size, did I say 8? Look at last week, because I was really good at telling you that information last week. It'd be 6 or 8 because it's one of my starter needles, and then my Caspian, which is a Knitter's Pride acrylic, which was in the starter set, and then my Caspian short tips, which is a Knit Picks needle, and I kind of use those. One is to help me cable because the next row, which is why I didn't go any further, because I need to do cabling, and I found the best way for me to do the cabling is to displace all the stitches, put them back on one needle, and then knit off that needle, because it's like an entire row of cabling. So that is, oh, I didn't tell you, I was naming all my project bags, and then I didn't name this one. This is a bag I won from Dramatic Knits, and it is, I don't remember the company it's from, but it had string in the title. So that was another prize winning. Then for my crochet whips, I am working on my miso bowl cozy, and I lied to you last week. This is in my bag I won from Pen Hooks and Needles, and it is a Silver Shed USA bag. I don't know how, but it has gained another pin, which I think is my Socktober pin from the Crochet Cakes podcast. And I told you that this was Patton's Classic. It is indeed I Love This Wool Naturals in the biscuit colorway. So sorry about lying to you. I didn't realize I did that. I wouldn't actually have used this yarn if I would have known that's what it was, because this I prefer to use for the dryer balls, whereas the pattern stuff is dyed and this is more natural. So I would have preferred to use this for more dryer balls, but it's okay, we'll live. And that is using a 7mm hook. And the nice thing is, even though I did that, this is an actual Aran weight yarn, and that's what I was supposed to be using for the pattern, was Aran weight, but I thought all my yarn was worsted. So that was nice to just kind of happenstance upon. And my other last whip of the week. And I'll, of course, add anything in if I start working on anything later today. But since we're recording here, I might as well just get it all out. My Pinata socks, which is a stranded colorwork. Oh, and I did not share with you last week. This is Pinata on the, I think it's 80/20 BFL, which is blue face, luster, and nylon base from Stranded Dye Works. I have gotten the cuff made of our sock, and I have a couple stitch markers from Teresa on here. I need to get lighter ones, but they weren't handy, and these ones were, so they're the ones that are on it. And then I've added for the, I assume this is a heel flap and gusset. I don't know my proper terminology, but I've gotten, I believe I'm on row 16 of that, of a 20 row flap. I'm gonna assume that's what it is. But yeah, so this is the Mermaids Don't Run track by Once Upon a Corgi, and that is 100% BFL. So technically I should be doing this in reverse because the nylon is harder wearing than just wool by itself, but I really like this wool, and I had way too much of it left over when I finished my Mermaids Don't Run track socks. So that is my whips, and if I have anything else that I start today, I'll let you know, but I don't think I'm really going to start anything. I might start some scrubbers, which aren't really exciting, but I will share with you if I do. Anyways, guys, we'll talk to you soon. Okay, guys, here. And finally, guys, I said I would share with you if I started anything else new. So I am, this is not looking true to color to me. I am almost done with a new scrubber. I work these on a 4mm or G hook, and I know that's my G hook because it's my only Clover Amore hook. And yeah, this is a pattern I think I adapted from a YouTube video I watched a really long time ago, because I don't know, maybe 6 years or something I've been doing these scrubbers. So yeah, it's been a while since I've been doing them, so all I have to do is finish crocheting this up around the center and stuffing it, and that will be one more scrubber down. Anyways, guys, since I believe this will be my last clip for the day, if you enjoy these weekly Wednesdays and the other content we have, I hope you hook the like button and subscribe. We'll see you later, guys.